So how was this church founded?
This church was founded because of Reverend Whitfield's evangelistic activity here in the Newburyport area. At that time, there were 2 parishes, and groups of people from those 2 parishes broke away to support Reverend Whitfield.
Can you tell me about Whitfield's early life?
Reverend Whitfield was born in Gloucester, England in 1714. His parents owned the Bell Inn. His father died at an early age, and his mother remarried. And Whitfield had a difficult relationship with his stepfather. He found refuge and comfort in theater. So at an early age, he learned to train his voice. He learned how to act. And I think God's hand was upon him during those early years of preparing him for what God would use him for later on in life.
Most of Whitfield's preaching was open-air preaching. Can you tell us about that?
Reverend Whitfield was a pioneer of what was known as field preaching. He went to where the people were. He didn't feel that you had to come inside a church to hear the gospel. He would preach in fields, he would preach outside of coal mines. Wherever there were people that were hungry to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, that's where he went. On one particular occasion in Wales, he went to a mine and the miners came out. Soot covered their faces, and as he proclaimed the gospel of Jesus Christ, tears began to come down their cheeks, and the coal ash was washed away because of their tears. They were so moved by hearing the message of Jesus Christ.
Were there some churches that wouldn't allow him to preach there?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, very few pulpits in New England were open to him. Many clergy, I believe, were simply jealous of him. He drew thousands, they didn't. He was a colonial celebrity, they were not. So there were actually very few pulpits that were open to Whitfield at the time.
It's been said that Whitfield could speak to 20,000 people at a time. What can you tell us about that?
Just south of here, Boston Common, it was said that Whitfield preached to 20,000 people. Ben Franklin, the inventor, was famous for his calculations. And so he once heard Whitfield preach in the open air in Philadelphia. And he did a grid pattern and went up and down the streets. And he went as far as he could and not hear Whitfield, and he took a step in. And he determined that 30,000 people could fit in that grid and hear Reverend Whitfield in the open air. On another occasion in Philadelphia, Whitfield was preaching along the Schuylkill River, and there was a farmer in his field a mile away, and he heard what he thought was the voice of God. And later that evening, he learned that Whitfield was preaching at the time when he was out in his field, a mile away down the river. So you can imagine how many people would have been between where Whitfield was and where this farmer was.